They're going to kick, I'm sure.
I imagine so.
Excuse me, receive.
JCM will receive and defend the north goal. Lexington will be kicking from the south end. That'll be JCM moving left to right as you see it on your screen. And we're just about ready to get things underway. And before we do that, we need to bring in a new member of the TRTV broadcast crew tonight, Charles Dawson, down from the big city of Dyersburg. Charles, nice to have you with us here on TRTV.
Thank you, Jimmy. Glad to be here. Looking forward to what should be a good football game between two District 13 AAA powerhouses. Both of them off to a rocky start this year with losses last week, and that builds even more, I guess you'd say, suspense to this ball game tonight, because no one in high school football in a 10-game season wants to go 0-2 in your first 2 weeks. Somebody's going to do that in here tonight. Should be a dandy.
Absolutely right, Charles. And again, we'll be coming back and forth to you throughout the game. Charles is at field side. And also gets Mike, we're stuck up here in nowhere, and the new kid on the block gets to do the honors with the cheerleaders tonight. So
again,
what can I say?
We're going to have to check our contracts on
Just about ready now as the Tigers of Lexington will boot it away. Shane Britt, number 5, to do the chores. Back deep for the Cougars, and deep single safety is number 2. That is Melvin Henning. The boot's going to come down short, bounces over the head, now picked up by Henning on the far side. Back to the middle, got a little hole, slips through, and out to around the 30-yard line goes Henning, and decent field position for the JCM Cougars here early on.
It was Chad Hayes and Chad Reeves for Lexington on the tackle.
Shine a little light on the subject. Did that help any? Let's take a look at the starting lineups for JCM. The quarterback is David Bryant. The fullback, Montague Hayes. The tailback is Alvin House. The flanker is Kerry Cobb. Split end Keith Spann. The tight end is Anthony Hicks. Will pick up the line after this first play. Bryant under center. Wide receiver to the top of your screen. They pitch it back to the tailback, coming right and hammered at the 35-yard line, and down he goes at around the 36. Alvin House, 34, out of the tailback slot doing the honors. Let's take a look at that interior line now of JCM if they have it ready for us in the truck. There it is. The center is Montrell Moore. The left tackle is Quentin Love. The right tackle, Chris Rutherford. The left guard is Marcus Love, and the right guard is Juan Brooks. We'll take a look at Lexington's defensive unit after this play. 2nd down and 4, gain of 6. Again, and this time met at the line of scrimmage and dumped for maybe a 2 or 3 yard loss that time, Mike.
That was Brian Wood, number 33, up to stop him for no gain.
Take a look at the defensive unit now for the Lexington Tigers. The linebackers, there are 4 of them. Chad Hayes, Lynn Davis, Bart Stowe, and Brian Wood. The cornerbacks are Shane Britt and Chris Newdecker. The safety is Michael Thomas. Let's take another look at 3rd and 6 at this point. About a, 3 yard loss, Mike?
Yep.
Same alignment this time for JCM. Going to try the other side. Bryant's hit, now shovels it back to House. Got a block on the corner, shakes one tackler, and may have the first down as he rambles across the 40 out to about the 42 to 43 yard line.
That was a good second effort because that right side of the Lexington line was all the way through that line in the backfield. The quarterback had to drop back to even make the pitch.
On the inside, the defensive line for Lexington, the tackles are Bobby Siegler and Richie Wilson. The defensive ends, Anthony Melton and Kevin Pollard. And that's the way both teams line up here in the first set. 1st and 10 it is at the 42-yard line for the JCM Cougars. Wide receiver split to the top of the screen, the short side of the field as Bryant sets them up. Give it off again to House, trying the left side, is hit and taken down at around the 45-yard line. Gain of about 3 on the play, make it 2nd and 7.
That was Bart Stowe up to make the tackle. I wonder if he's any relation.
I wouldn't doubt that.
Jim Stowe, the coach. While we're talking about lineups, we don't want to forget the men in the stripes.
That's true.
Referee is Bill Bruce. Umpire Bill Haynes. The lineman is Chuck Powell. The line judge is Kevin Symington. And the timer, as usual, is Fred Johnson.
Oh, you didn't give me time to do the drum roll for
Fred Johnson Sr.
2nd down 7 for the Cougars inside their own territory. Pitch it back to House again. Tries the right side. Is hit by number 33 for the Lexington Tigers and knocked down about the 45-yard line. No gain there.
Ryan Wood and Russell Davis up to make the pitch. I tell you what, Lexington's interior line is really getting off the ball and getting some penetration on that. You know, that was what set the play up on that play.
No gain is the call. 3rd down and 7 from the 45-yard line. Nice to have you along with us. TRTV's second high school game of the week from TR White Sportsplex. Wide receivers now split to both sides. Going to keep it on the ground. Nope, the fake. Brian rolls to the left side and is hit from behind and hauled down. Maybe got a yard on that one, Mike.
Woody Marshall for Lexington up to make the stop.
That's a name I remember from last year. Marshall's been around for quite some time on the defensive unit. I think he plays on both sides of the ball, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, that's going to bring up a 4th down situation.
I was right. He is a running back offensively.
Running back.
4th and 5 now as the Cougars stall out at about the midfield stripe, make it the 47-yard line. JCM back in punt formation.
Chad Reeves back to receive.
Low snap, handled well, and a driving kick's going to go down the right side and hit, and is going to bounce out of bounds at about the, 15? I'm going to mark it at about the 17, 18-yard line. Nope, they keep moving it up on me. Make it at the 19. .7:43 left here in the first quarter of play from TR White Sportsplex. No score in this one. The Cougars of JCM hosting the Tigers of Lexington High School. The Big Red.
Well, we've got 81 yards to go. Let's see what Lexington comes out.
About
JCM was fairly ineffective except for that one play.
This is not exactly what we call football weather. We'll see if that takes a toll on any of the players at all. Lexington on the ground, hit in the backfield and dropped by the JCM defensive unit.
Cedric White up, number 84, up to make the tackle.
Ball carrier for Lexington in there, 36, is Telly Flakes, a running back, sophomore.
11. It'll be a loss of 2 on that one.
On the tackle for JCM, Cedric White.
2nd down and 11 on the game clock, make it a loss of 1. We'll call it a long 1 or a short 2. Again, Lexington on the ground, right side this time. Read well and stopped quickly by the JCM defensive unit. Ball carrier trying to skirt the right side was the junior Chad Reeves.
Jermaine Grimes, number 24 up, and number 35, Michael Carr up to make the tackle on that one. For another loss, Jimmy.
JCM's defense, of course, Mike, has been pretty well heralded over the past couple of years. It's been their trademark, and it looks like the defensive unit has been reading their own flesh clipping. Make it 3rd and 13, a loss of a couple more on that play. Thomas Pugh, the quarterback, sets him up. Slot man left this time. On the ground, hit again at the line of scrimmage, and nothing doing there as he's met and knocked backwards. Anthony Hicks, the 6'3", 210-pound senior linebacker, and that's all she wrote for the Big Red. And they pretty well went the wrong direction for a little bit.
3 yards and a cloud of dust going the wrong way.
And it's hard to get a cloud of dust on a steamy night like this, I'll tell you.
But the interior defensive line for JCM pretty well controlled that line of scrimmage. That was one of the reasons Lexington couldn't get anything developing.
That's what we had talked about in the pregame show. JCM goes an average of 210 across the front defensively. Lexington to punt it away, not much pressure. Good hanging spiral back at midfield, taken there. And corralled and knocked down at the 45-yard line. A good one-on-one open field tackle by number 44 in the Lexington Red. That was Chris Neudecker. Absolutely. Nothing doing there on the run back. A good punt, good net. Shane Britt.
Well, JCM
also in the area,
will
Mike.
start good field position at the 45. But they're going to have to control that line of scrimmage a little better than they did on that first series.
Kerry Cobb, flanker, comes to the near side of the field. Split wide receiver on the top end. David Bryant sets the Cougars up from their own 45-yard line after the exchange of punts. Lexington showing like they want to blitz. Bryant chunks, got his man across midfield and down to the 40-yard line. First completion of the night for David Bryant.
Number 20 on the receiving end of that, Kevin Spann for JCM. Number 33, Brian Wood, made the tackle for Lexington.
Take a look at it, Mike.
Just a quick opener on this thing. The line did held out, even though there was some breakdown in that. Well, I say we're going to get a replay. Here comes the replay. Look at the charge of Lexington line. So you get some penetration, and we just get a quick flare out to the men, kind of a look-in pass.
1st and 10 from the Lexington 40-yard line. First penetration of the night for the Cougars. Bryant, first man through. Big hole over the left side and down to the 35-yard line.
It was a good just power play for 5 yards there.
Montague Hayes, the fullback, a senior 5'7", 175-pounder.
That one you don't make the block, you just move the pile.
That's right. They moved it for a gain of 4, second down and 6. Ball directly in front of our vantage point here in the press box at Rothrock at TR White Sportsplex. Again, the wide receiver split to the top of the screen this time. David Bryant counts him down. Again, Lexington showing the blitz. Big hole over the right side is House. And down to the 30-yard line goes Big Alvin. And may, depending on where they mark it, may have the first down. I can't, they haven't put it down yet. No, it's going to be about a half yard short.
Yeah, he needed to cross the 30 for first yards, right. But this would bring up a third and less than a yard.
Alvin House, a hefty young man, 6 foot 225. Checking into the ball game now for JCM is Jermaine Grimes. Split into the top of the screen again is Keith Spann. Short yardage situation for the Cougars. They give it over the left side. Big hole to the 25, still on his feet to the 20. And another big gainer, Keith Spann. The correction, that was Hayes, Montague Hayes. Number 30 rather than 20.
That was a good second effort. You know, it looked like he was going to be stopped there for about a 3 or 4 yard gain, which would have given him the first down, but he kept those feet churning and popped out and picked up another 5 yards.
3:29, clock running at the first quarter of play. JCM with the deepest penetration of the night. Once again, Keith Spann comes split to the near side. Keep it on the ground again. To give off to the right side, this time stacked up by the left side of the Lexington Tiger line.
Chad Hayes, number 11, with others up to meet him.
And Montague Hayes with the football, number 30.
He's second 10.
Cobb comes out of the game along for JCM. Jermaine Grimes, 23, checking back in. This time they split the receiver to the top side of the screen. Bryant, fullback, House, right side, bounces off 1 tackle, 2 tackles, still on his feet. And down goes Alvin House at the 15-yard line. About a 5-yard gainer.
So what, number 11 had him stopped at the line of scrimmage. That was a slow developing play. They had the lead back going through to pick off the linebacker. And you know, he got hit at the line of scrimmage by number 11, and just a good second effort. Picked up those 5 yards for him.
Here you get a pretty good look at some of the crowd on the home side of the field here at Rothrock. Not a bad crowd for a muggy early season ball game. JCM's home opener. 3rd down and 5 from the 15-yard line. Bryant again wants to throw, looks over the middle, complete, touchdown, JCM.
A good play. That was the same pass they ran a while ago. Just a little look in, kind of a timing pattern. Good play.
Nicely done. The receiver on the play, number 20, to split in. Keith Spann takes it in for 6. And JCM goes up with 1:47 left.
They only have 1 receiver out in this pattern. It makes you wonder what's going to happen when they get this man covered. There's the only man out in the pattern. He's wide open. Good quick look-in pass, a nice safe pass.
PAT is up and good. The score now, JCM 7, Lexington nothing. We'll take a commercial break and return. Stay with us.
At Baker's Drug Store and Northgate Discount Pharmacy, your health and well-being is our most important concern. When your doctor gives you a prescription, it's our goal to fill that prescription economically and accurately. Pharmacist Mark Harville at Northgate, Dave Tanner at Baker's Downtown, and owner Ashley Tanner keep computerized records, bill insurance claims, and furnish tax records. For citywide delivery, call Baker's Downtown. For area-wide delivery, call Northgate Pharmacy next to Northside.
The health of your family is our main concern.
We are back at Rothrock Field at TR White Sportsplex in Jackson with the score Cougars 7 and the Tigers of Lexington High School nothing. I want to remind everyone the playback times here on TR TV Friday night, that is tonight when we are taping the ball game. The first playback is at 9:30, Saturday morning at 9 a.m., Saturday evening at 7, and on Monday afternoon at 2 o'clock. And also this game will be cablecast Monday night in Lexington on cable channel 2 at 7 p.m. and again Thursday night at 7 p.m. So if you have any friends in the Lexington area who might be interested in watching the Tigers play, give them a call and let them know when they can watch it on channel 2 over there. Just about minute 47 left on the clock, and JCM will boot it away. Good kick coming down the middle, taking at the 11-yard line, and back up the middle comes Lexington. Big hole opens up, and into the secondary of coverage he goes, and out across the 35 to about the 38-yard line. And, Mike, we've got laundry on the field.
That was Montague Hayes up to stop him from worse.
Tell you what, guys, from field side, that I don't think that lick was done on purpose. I think it was just his momentum, one of those situations where he carried him into the ball carrier, and it's going to cost the Cougars, though, 15 yards. That's right, Charles. Unfortunately, it's kind of like golf. They don't ask how many, they just ask how, or how many, not, whatever I said. At any rate, whether he meant to or not, it cost him the yardage.
You know, they ruled that as an unsportsmanlike, though.
Yeah.
Charles, did you notice that?
No, I did not.
As opposed to a personal foul.
Good shot of Rick Collins, head coach, first-year head coach at JCM, contemplating on the sidelines as Lexington has it, and Lexington is going to call for a timeout. With timeout on the field, Cougars lead at 7-0. We'll be right back.
Family is our main concern.
When your needs are metal, you need Jackson Metal Services. By purchasing from leading metal producers, Jackson Metal Services offers competitive prices on prime quality metals such as steel, aluminum, and stainless steel, and can offer 24-hour delivery to your location. Complete metal processing from Jackson Metal Services includes shearing, drilling, multiple head plate burning to wheel abrading and automatic saw indexing. We'll help you with those hard-to-find items. Jackson Metal Services, serving Jackson and surrounding areas with metal when you want it.
New Wave Electronics, the pros to know in audio and video. Carriage House Drive, Jackson.
Back at Rothrock, TR White Sportsplex, 7-0, 1:21 left. First quarter of play here. The Cougars lead this one over the Lexington Tigers. Lexington with good field position. In fact, their best position of the night, Mike, as the ball is marked at the Cougars' 48-yard line after the 15-yarder was marked off on the late hit on the kickoff return. Thomas Pugh in at quarterback for the Lexington Tigers. They give it off over the right side. Nothing doing there as Woody Marshall is the ball carrier again. That defensive front line of JCM right there.
It was Anthony Hicks, number 40, up to make the tackle. You know, last week we talked a little bit about the unsportsmanlike, and one of the emphasis in the officiating this year is unsportsmanlike, and this is the talking and the conversation that a player would do on the field, and that was the signal that we got from the referee was unsportsmanlike.
Give him one on the play, 2nd down and 9. And they pitch it back to the tailback, trying the left side, lowers his helmet and bangs his way out across the 35-yard line.
That was Karan Murphy up with Hicks to make that tackle. So I think we're probably going to see, particularly early in the season, we're going to see lots of that unsportsmanlike. They're wanting to cut out the conversation.
Get on with the ball game.
Get on with the ball game, and that was what the...
we saw a lot of that last week at Southside in the Northside-Southside game, and that's something we'll have to talk about a little later on, too. The subsequent forfeit by the Northside Indians of a 21-6, I believe it was, or 20-6 maybe. 3rd down and 4. Time is ticking down here in the first quarter. They get the play off anyway, over the middle and down around the 40-yard line. Looks like he may be a little short of first down yardage. The horn blows. That's the end of the first quarter with a score. JCM 7, Lexington nothing. We'll take a break and return. Stay there.
Now, Mr. Wallach, is it true that Wallach Music Company has been the Golden Circle's leading band instrument store with band director approved instruments for over 50 years?
Yes.
And isn't it true that Wallach Music Company is the only factory authorized instrument repair facility in West Tennessee?
I suppose it is.
And can you deny the fact that only Wallach Music Company carries a complete line of books and accessories for the beginning band student?
And you can come in now and reserve your instrument for fall.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, how do you find the defendant?
Guilty!
Those folks up the road have a good car insurance agent, and they told their neighbors. These folks told their neighbors that same agent was good for life and health insurance, too. And this family recommended the same agent to insure their neighbor's home. Why do so many people end up buying all their insurance from a State Farm agent? Ask a neighbor.
State Farm is there.
For all your insurance needs, call Ron Darby at 668-1505.
We are back, just about to crank things up in the second quarter of play. Let's go down to Charles Dawson quickly. Charles, your impressions of the first quarter of play here.
Well, I'll say this, these guys down here, both teams are really passing some licks. I know JCM was glad to finally get a touchdown on the board after being shut out last week at Gallatin, and then their first possession tonight they did not score. And this is supposedly a high-powered Cougar offense, but good ball game so far, just like we thought it would be.
Let's get back to the action now. First play of the second quarter as Thomas Pugh, the Lexington quarterback, sets the big red machine left side. Got the first down and a couple of yards to spare. Brian Wood, the junior running back for Lexington, picks up the first down, make it 1st and 10. Let's see, they're going to mark it where, Mike? At around the 36-yard line, let's call it.
It was Michael Carr that was up to try to stop him.
Don't forget, coming up at the end of the ball game, Charles Dawson will have the happy duty of presenting the Top Store Top Stopper Award, the defensive player of the game, to the defensive player of the game, and we'll keep you in suspenders.
You know, I heard Charles practicing that before the game.
Let's see if he can say it now.
Top Store Top Stopper Defensive Award.
Holy mackerel, get that man a contract.
Don't ask me to say it 3 times.
1st and 10. With about 11:53, the clock is still ticking, Mike, and now we're going to blow it back in.
Tell you what, guys,
lost a couple of seconds there.
Jimmy, you alluded earlier tonight about how hot and muggy it is here. It is that, and sometimes the best conditioned team wins the ball games early in the season when it's like this.
Absolutely correct. Ball was given off on the reverse to 34 out of the backfield. Chad Reeves, JCM right there to stop that one before it got going good.
Hayes, number 30, with good penetration on that. He got there about the same time the ball did, I think.
Give him a loss of 2 on that one. Make it 2nd down and 12. Ball at the 39-yard line of JCM. Checking out of the ball game for Lexington is Chad Reeves, the ball carrier on the previous play. Lexington splits a man to the top of the screen this time. Pugh, the left-hander, the throw, and off the hands it goes, incomplete. The intended receiver for the Lexington Tigers on the play was 83, and wouldn't you know it, we don't have an 83 on our program.
And that was the same play that JCM ran so successfully for their 2 completions. A little looking pass to the end.
At any rate, it goes incomplete. 3rd down and 12.
I have an 83 on my program. Roger Wilson. Did you get one of those? Did you get one of those cheap programs? I'm telling you, you buy them inside the stadium.
Never go in a phone booth with a program salesman. I understand. 3rd and 12 now for Lexington. Pugh wants to throw again. Got plenty of time. Steps up. Going long down the left side, complete, and out of bounds he goes inside the 20-yard line. Make it inside the 15 at the 14-yard line, and Lexington goes to the air successfully to Michael Thomas.
Yeah, I tell you what, there were 2 JCM defenders down there, and he just found the opening and threw it. We didn't get good reaction off these defenders to the ball, so we had a good completion, good yardage. Puts him what, at the
14, make it the 14-yard line as they move the sticks down that way now. Coming into the ball game for JCM is Preston Burton, defensive back number 7. Let's see what Pugh has in mind now. Everybody in tight for the Big Red from the 14-yard line.
Oh, no room there. Ball's loose, but they're going to rule it that he was down by contact, I think.
I believe you're right. No indication of anything else from the officials at that point.
It was an excellent defensive play by JCM on that side of the line. There were two men that hit him, and I think the referee's probably right. The ground did cause the fumble on that.
No gain on the play, maybe a yard. Let's give him a yard on it. Make it 2nd down and 9 on the fumble.
Or let's rephrase that. The ground cannot cause a fumble. It's a dead ball when it touches the ground. Going to have a timeout, looks like, for
Officials.
JCM.
No, JCM is calling this one. Okay, let's take a quick break with the score 7-0. Second quarter of play. JCM takes the timeout, and we'll be right back.
Thanks, Jackson and West Tennessee, for making the Top Store your diskette and computer tray headquarters. Computer furniture and very conveniently located in the Simpson Center, Highland Park. Come by and see why more and more businesses are choosing the Top Store.
You're always tops at the Top Store. Letter size file folders, $3.90 per 100. 45 by 33 pleated chair mats, $13.99 with lifetime warranty. 20-pound copier paper, $19.99 a case. The Top Store, Highland Park in Simpson Center.
Whatever the season, whatever the weather, look to Motor Parts and Bearing for the antifreeze coolant protection you can count on. Prestone, everyday low priced at $5.47 a gallon. Xerox, pick up a gallon at Motor Parts for only $3.95. Parts Master, everyday low priced at $3.85 a gallon. Year-round protection with peace of mind confidence you can count on. From West Tennessee's parts leader, Motor Parts and Bearing, with 5 Jackson area locations to better serve you.
There you see the JCM cheerleading squad on the near sideline, and Charles Dawson will have a chance at halftime to get up close and personal with the girls, at least from an introduction standpoint.
I had a chance to meet all those lovely young ladies Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, I saw you pop out from midst. Looked like a bee coming out of a flower. 2nd down and 9 with 10 minutes left here in the second quarter. Lexington at the 14-yard line of JCM. They tried the left side of the line, nothing doing there. A little second effort might have gotten him a couple of yards, squirting forward. Coming up out of the pile for Lexington is Woody Marshall, the senior running back.
Number 57 for JCM getting off the very bottom. Marcus Love, even though there were several folks involved in that tackle.
Give him 1 as he leaned forward enough to pick up that one. Make it 3rd down and 8. Officially, they're calling it 3rd and 7. We'll go with that. Ball marked at about the 12-yard line. Lexington with their best opportunity of the evening so far. Second man around is Marshall. Bounces off of one tackle and down to around the 10-yard line goes Woody Marshall, number 22.
Who had picked up nothing on that one. There was excellent pursuit then by JCM. The first man got there, and then there was a host of others that came rather rapidly.
Looks like they may give him a yard on him, Mike. They're going to move the marker forward almost to the 10-yard line, just outside the 10.
Looks like they're going to try a field goal. They're putting it down now.
4th and 5. Lexington to try for 3. Quarterback Pugh is the holder. Good snap, gets it down. Kick is up. Look good from here, looks good from there. With the score now, JCM 7, Lexington 3. We'll take a break and return. Most of us may think that the new cars from the 1990s have undergone only minor design changes. The most important new change may be under your hood. Many car manufacturers have switched to plastic tanks and aluminum core radiators.
One big reason for aluminum radiator failure is coolant breakdown. Highland Radiator reminds you to have your car's cooling system flushed and filled with fresh coolant.
Don't put it off. Now is the time to winterize your cooling system. Come to Highland Radiator and we'll help you keep your cool.
Back to action with the Cougars up 7-3. The kickoff is taken and fumbled at the 30-yard line. Now picked back up again, and he spins back to about the original point of entry. Anthony Hicks for JCM with the football.
I can tell you that was not a fun run back. You fumble that, you give everybody a chance to get a beat on you.
Looked like a silver ball of the pinball machine. 31-yard line is where they'll mark correction, make that the 29-yard line. They'll mark the football, and the Cougars will go back to work with a 4-point lead and about 8 minutes left to go here in the first half of play. Coming up at halftime, the JCM Cougar Marching Band under the direction of Mr. Brian Ford will be doing their halftime routine for us, brought to you by Wallach Music Company on Airways Boulevard. 1st and 10 now. Bryant sets the Cougars from the 29-yard line. Give it off to Alvin House, and hit and ridden down at about the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard or two loss in there. Anthony Melton